She played Bisky, Tara Sands. He played Metawim, Max Middleman. She played Coluto, Lauren Landa.
And Leorio himself. No, I'm just kidding.
And I'm cosplaying Tanpa. How's everyone doing? All right.
There's no more seats.
All right, so.
Hey, how's everybody doing today?
Hey, buddy.
What's up, Pasadena? Oh, it's just, okay. Lauren, yours is low. I know, it is low. It's better now. It's better now. Thank you, Tech.
Well, at least you're awake. You got the right place. You weren't like, what's up, South Carolina?
If you don't have enough Apple Jacks for the class.
No, I'm sorry, guys. I didn't bring enough for everyone. Sorry.
Everyone gets one single Apple Jack, and then you just share it with the person next to you. All right. So
on 3, you're gonna yell out. This has nothing to do with Hunter x Hunter. You're gonna yell out your favorite cereal. Ready? 3, 2, 1.
I heard Cinnamon Toast Crunch from so many people.
Me too.
You guys both?
Yeah. Raise your hand if it's Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Raise your hand if it's Apple Jacks. No.
Raise your hand if it's Captain Crunch. Captain Crunch, come on, admit it.
Wait, what about Kix? Does anybody remember Kix? I love Kix. I love Kix. I love Kix.
all right. So.
Smaller move a few weeks ago.
Raise your hand if it's Cookie Crisp.
You have to say it right.
Cookie Crisp.
I'm a real big fan of Frankenberry, so I like that.
Oh, yeah.
It comes around once a year, right?
Raise your hand if it's steel-cut Irish oatmeal.
Very specific.
Hell yeah.
Who likes
Exactly.
What about, wait, who likes the Quaker Oatmeal Squares cereal? I love that stuff. It's so...
No, the frosted mini wheats.
Oh, yeah.
Who likes Hunter snacks?
Yeah.
Any
So
Hunter snacks?
this is actually, it is a Q&A, but they ask you the Qs. So, right?
Wait, is that true?
If you want. I mean, it's up to you.
I don't have questions prepared.
No, you obviously cereal.
Roll of Keats.
All right. So here's how today's gonna work. I have a few questions of my own, but as mentioned, it is a Q&A. So for those of you who have your own questions, those burning questions you've been waiting all year to ask, we will have some microphones set up so you can ask questions. But I have my own first, so I'll start off with just some basic introductions. I know I introduced you all, but if you can let these beautiful people who know who you are and maybe some of the characters you've played.
Sure.
Yeah. Yes.
Keith.
Okay. You play Keith?
This is Keith Silverstein.
So in Hunter x Hunter, of course, I play Hisoka. How unusual. It looks like that poor man's arms have turned to flower petals. I also play Targ, ready to mark in Overwatch and Overwatch 2. Nuru, Darkwing's Rise. Osmanthus wine tastes the same as I do. You know that one. That's pretty good. Is that enough? That's enough, right?
No, more.
Who did I miss? I'll say the whole line. But where are those who share the memory?
Keith, what is your most obscure character or project?
The most obscure one?
Yes.
That you like.
That you think no one in here will know about.
Well, I could probably be like Soldier B in something for sure.
Sure.
But what I think that is interesting, because I grew up on the show, and I still have kids who watch the show, is I got to be Ziggy the Rapping Zebrasaurus in Sesame Street.
That's awesome.
That's kind of cool.
Now, was that in Texas? No, Barney was in Texas. Where's Sesame?
No, it was in, well, they do it in New York, but all the animated segments that you watch on Sesame Street are all totally separate companies usually that produce those for Sesame Street. So no, I didn't get to actually be, I wish I could be like physically on it, I didn't puppeteer on it. But if you do type in Ziggy the Rapping Zebrasaurus, you will get to hear me rap about shapes.
That's awesome.
So if you don't know your rhombus, you know, from your circle.
I hear you rap
That's what
all
she
your
wanted to do.
answers.
I
Can you
don't know.
answer all your questions as raps?
I cannot. I will not.
Johnny Bosch once sang his answers. He had a guitar and he...
Did he really? That does not surprise me.
Well, Johnny Bosch is not on this panel, but you know who is? Tara Sands!
I've heard about her. Hi, I'm Tara Sands. I play Bisky on Hunter x Hunter, and she would say, "Don't call me old." On the original Pokemon, I played a bunch of roles, including Bulbasaur. And let's see, Jujutsu Kaisen, I played Unahime and Momo, and Yu-Gi-Oh! I played Moko Bakaiba, who really only said, "Help, help!" Shaman King Anna, she was a lot like Bisky. Yeah, we'll talk about other stuff.
And what is the most obscure title you've been in?
Title? Oh gosh, I was gonna, you said role before, and I was
Or
thinking
role.
of roles.
Sure.
I played an old lady on JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, who I became obsessed with, because she was like a horny old lady who just ran after JoJo all the time, and he was like, "Get out of here, I must have you." Yeah, that was one of my favorite, and that was one of those roles that like, you just happened to be in the booth. So like,
That's awesome.
and now she's my spirit animal.
That's awesome.
That show, by the way, is the most true to its name of any show. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is the perfect description for that entire series.
But you know what's even, but you know who's even more bizarre?
Max Middleman!
Hey everybody, I'm Max Middleman. I play Merwin in Hunter x Hunter. And I know you hate him.
I love it.
Thanks.
You're great in it.
Thank you. He's dead.
Everyone's caught up, right? It's been 10 years.
What else do you do, Max?
What else do I do? I am Saitama in One Punch Man. I play
Plague in Seven Deadly
Seven Deadly Sins.
And I play Plague in Seven Deadly Sins, the King in Miraculous Ladybug.
And Leo in Fire Emblem, and Gordon in Fire Emblem, and Kaden in Fire Emblem, and Forrest in Fire Emblem, and Gray in Fire Emblem.
But Max, what about an obscure role that nobody made?
Well, I'm not done with the most popular ones. I play Ryuji in Persona 5. I play Ito in Genshin Impact. And everybody's favorite additional voices in the Emoji Movie. Obscure roles, well, Emoji Movie. And then, speaking of old ladies, I
Get her when you say that.
speaking of old ladies, no, I never thought I'd get to play some old ladies, and it's not even out yet. But one of my favorite things that and characters that I've been able to play is a couple of old ladies for a Disney show that's not out.
Okay, here's my question though. Did you audition, or were these just like
No,
extra
I
things?
play a different character, and then they threw me a couple old ladies.
Well, it sounds like this.
It's very fun.
They threw you some old ladies.
Yeah.
We need a t-shirt.
Yeah. Speaking of old... Speaking of throwing... speaking of beautiful women who are so talented, just amazing, skilled... Lauren Landa!
He knows he was this close to getting slapped. He just knows it. Hi guys, I'm Kaluto in Hunter x Hunter. If you don't know who that is, that's okay. He's Killua's younger brother. Wow, nothing. That's awesome. Thank you. I love the enthusiasm. Huh?
Is a little brother?
Little, yeah.
Oh yeah.
There you go.
All right, so you.
He's only in like 2 episodes, but that's okay. He was actually a pretty cool character to play. And a lot of people think he is a girl, but he is actually a boy. But he is part of the Zoldyck family. Anyway, I also am the voice of Merlin from Seven Deadly Sins. I am also the voice of Sailor Neptune from Sailor Moon, which Keith and Sarah you're all in Sailor Moon.
Yeah.
You would not know who I was in Sailor Moon. I was in one episode.
Sailor Mars?
I was some DJ in a random episode. I'm telling you.
I know exactly who you are.
Oh yeah? What's his name?
What's his name? I don't know his name.
It's DJ.
Who else? Oh, Annie Lanhart in Attack on Titan. And yes, the last episode dropped yesterday. I haven't watched it yet. Not ready. But it's not officially over until the dub's out. That's how I'm seeing it. What else? Oh, Karin Kantoki from Street Fighter V. I was also Kasumi in Dead or Alive. Gosh, I'm trying to remember. Oh, Kyoko Sakura from Madoka Magica. I know. Girls getting beheaded in that show. It's crazy. An obscure, well, it's not really an obscure role, but it's a role that people may not know that I play. In Dragon Ball Z Kai, I was the voice of Bulla, who is Bulma and Vegeta's daughter, so that was a lot of fun.
Whoa.
Yeah! Hey, Daddy, you hit somebody! So yeah. Yay!
Thank you, good night.
That was it. All right, thank you for... That was awesome. It's the amount of talent just up here is amazing, and all of it's on that side, so none of here. So, I just wanted to ask you about your audition process for the show. Can you share how that went? Especially, Keith, you were right at the beginning, and you've all entered at various stages of the show, so can you tell us about the experience? Did you know about the show when you were going in, if it was already airing? And yeah, I'd love to learn more about that.
I have an answer if you're ready.
Yeah.
Or if you want to go, Keith.
No, please.
So I actually remember this audition process because I thought the character was cool. I had heard of the show because I believe there was an older version of it, was there not?
Yeah.
And that's why I was familiar with the title. And when I auditioned for Kaluto, I thought, oh, this is a really great character. I auditioned for it. Didn't go in to record until like a year, 2 years later. And I thought that was very interesting because it was not original animation, it was an anime, so I thought it was very interesting. But that's my audition story. So,
awesome.
Yeah.
I originally auditioned for Gon and Killua, and I usually forget my auditions as soon as I finish them. And for some reason, those stuck with me, and I thought, oh, a bummer, I wonder whatever happened with that show. And then I saw who got them, I was like, oh, they're awesome. And then a while later, I got the email that I was going to be playing Bisky. I did not audition for it. I think the casting director often will use our previous auditions from other appropriate roles to cast us. So that was a fun one where I didn't even, and I remember being bummed that I didn't get like one of the boys, and then I thought, oh no, this is way more fun. so that was my story.
Yeah, I remember getting an email. I auditioned for Leorio and Hisoka. I definitely wasn't right for Leorio, I don't think. I mean, I don't know, Matt was incredible at it, and even thinking back at my audition, it's kind of like one of those, you're like, you know what I mean? Oh, it's all right. But I really liked Hisoka as a character. Seemed like he would be a load of fun, which he was. And I remember they described him as, they said he's kind of effeminate, but, you know, vocally, but not high-pitched. So I was like, okay, cool, so we'll put a little like musicality in his voice without that high-pitched thing. And of course, as a character, he's very powerful, he's very confident, he's mysterious, you're not quite sure how powerful he is. So, dragging his voice out a bit seemed to be like the case as much as I could, and just that kind of, like, you wouldn't talk like that if you were shy or you were nervous or anything, you know. You might speed up or have stutters or that kind of a thing. So he was very kind of, you know, that kind of confidence in his voice. And then of course, the weird thing is, of course, because he gets very excited over a good fight. I mean, literally gets incredibly excited.
That's one word for it.
That is, well, it is. It's true, though. I mean, that's a huge part of that character. That's what he loves more than anything. He gets off on a good fight. So that kind of almost moan thing that is in his voice constantly. So it kind of plays off of that too. And then I heard back. I didn't know what the series was before, but whenever I don't know what a series is and I audition for it, one of the fun things I'll do is, you know, you just Google it quickly just to get an idea. And when I booked it, I definitely Googled it, and I was like, oh my God, this guy's all over the internet like this. This show is huge and this character is really, really popular. So I do remember when it was airing on Toonami that I was very nervous about it. because I felt like this was like a maker. There were a lot of people posting online. Now, you're not supposed to watch that stuff. You're not supposed to look at it, but a lot of people were like, let's see, all right, let's see. I hope Hisoka's good. And I was like, oh my God, like everybody is posting that. And I was like, this is going to be either a really good night or a really bad night for me. So, you know, I was very nervous about it, which I don't usually do that. But just because it was such a big kind of premiere and so many people were talking, I was like, oh my God, what is this going to be like?
What about Max? Yeah.
My audition, very boring story. I mean, I was sent an audition, and I did a thing, and I booked it. And then I got to the session, I think Tony was directing, right? Tony directed the show?
Yes.
And Tony Oliver, and we very quickly established who the character was. It was exciting for me because I don't often get an opportunity to play villains who are in that register. If I'm playing a villain, it's usually someone who's like unhinged, or but I don't get to play that calm and just not doing much sort of thing. And then people were telling me that Meruem is the other most OP character in all of anime, in addition to Saitama and One Punch Man. And I was like, cool, I'll just collect them all. So, yeah, that's...
So were you typecast in as like the most powerful characters? Is that
what?
Were you typecast in like as the most powerful characters?
If that's what I'm typecast as, I'm happy to accept. So,
I have a
OP
question.
means overpowered.
Oh, he got it. Thank you.
Thank you.
What does that mean? And what does overpowered mean?
What, overpowered?
Yeah.
So just like how Saitama kills all his enemies in one punch.
Oh, he's able to overpower.
He is.
Oh, he's too strong for it.
Character. Yeah. A lot of times, like people will, gamers will be referring to their characters in the game as an overpowered.
Like it isn't fair with how powerful they are.
Wow. Oh, I feel so stupid. Thank you. I don't know.
Well, you're not a gamer, right?
I'm not a gamer.
Yeah.
I'm a crossword puzzle person.
Which crossword puzzle is the most OP?
Ask Tara about
The Times.
Sunday Times,
Yeah.
specifically.
Baby.
Always.
In ink.
So my follow-up question is just in general, when you were introducing yourselves, you gave us this huge list of all the characters you've all played. So my question, I'm not a professional voice actor, nor do I want to be. It just seems like it's really difficult. But how do you find the voices for each character? Because you all have these different ranges. So how do you, one, find those voices, and two, remember how to do those voices once you find them?
Well, there's different ways to find the voice. It's very helpful if you get an image of the character. You don't always get that, but literally an image, the way they're standing, the way they're holding themselves, like the shape of their jaw, whether they're big or small, are they a tough character? I mean, it tells you so much just from looking at that image. Obviously, the description is a big deal, because maybe you're supposed to play off character. For example, for Hisoka, if I had just looked at him and they didn't say not high-pitched, I'm sure I would have done an attempt like that. You know, kind of a jokery character that was on a higher range, but he doesn't live in that higher range. So that was very important that they told me that. And you try things. You'll do what they describe, and sometimes the fun thing for a second take is to say, you know what though? This is not what they said. In fact, they said kind of not this, but it's a take two. And I think I'm looking at this character, and I think it would be kind of funny or kind of cool if they were kind of the opposite.
Oftentimes my take two is my take one instinct.
Right.
Where I'll see the character and I'll go, oh, I have an idea for it. And then I'll read the description and go, that was very wrong based on what they gave me here. Sure. But then I'll give them that take two.
You'll put them in
and sometimes that books the job.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And then you gotta remember also, I mean, that's just to book it, but I mean, when you go into studio, which we talked about a little bit, sometimes you still work on the voice with the director and the producers. They're like, we love what you did, but we're gonna add this to it. Or we're doing this thing, we wanna take that out. It could be pretty major. It could be like that whole dialect thing we're doing, that's gone.
Oh yeah.
We really love where your placement was though, but he's not Russian, so get that away. You're like, oh.
That used to throw me off in a big way.
Right.
Like, where I was almost paralyzed. Like, I did it this way and I don't know how else to do it. Yeah. And then nowadays, you just sort of have to roll with the punches. But.
Yeah, that's an interesting note that it's, with voiceover, some people get it really quickly and some people it takes a little while on it. But shaking something out of your system, when they go, you've already booked it because of X, Y, Z, and they go, you know what, forget that.
Yeah.
Forget all that.
And you're sure?
Yeah.
Sure I should forget that?
Forget it.
Okay. gone.
But it's
What
hard
else?
to learn that though, right? I mean, I'm saying
Yeah.
I've struggled with that on occasion. I've seen people struggle with that, where they're just like, they can't. Whatever it is they brought in, they're like, I can't not do that now. Which is weird. It's almost like, pretend it's a new character.
Because we'll listen to our auditions that booked out. Like before I go to a session, I go, oh, what did I do to get this job? So in my brain, I'm warmed up. Like, oh, was it high pitched? And I'll listen to it. Like, you know, we keep, most of us, we either keep our auditions or our agent will send us the audition that booked the job. So you can't get attached to anything once you audition.
Yeah. And then the other element for that was like keeping the.
Oh,
how do you keep the voice?
We don't. They do that for us.
How do you keep the voice? Actually, I struggled with that when I was early on in my career. The voice would sway, and then I would ask for my reference and get back to it. So they have I feel like we're talking about it as if everybody should know, but we keep a reference on file, right? Either it's in our audition or something early on when we are recording our first session, and they can play that for us to remind us what the voice is. Yeah, so sometimes you have to do that if it's, especially if it's a character that is pretty dynamic, and you forget the very specific intricacies of what you're doing. But other times, the character evolves as the show progresses, as there are more seasons. That's most of my characters that get a second season and a third season, they change. It's not something that, I mean, I would love for the character to be that evolved at season 1, but if you listen back, especially like original animated stuff, I change, well, my characters change.
Oh, what's the Homer Simpson rule? Listen to old Homer Simpson. I always bring that up when people are like, why did you change? I go, because Homer Simpson figured out who he was, so I'm going to do that too.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So now I'm curious, as earlier Tara, Keith, you both mentioned you also auditioned for other characters. Do you remember those voices you auditioned for Gon and Killua and Leorio? And if you remember them, would you mind just letting us know what that might sound like?
I assume I sounded like Mokuba. No, I mean, you know, like with little boy voices, especially, there's like, I have like 2 or 3 versions of my little boy voice. So I'm sure I sounded like this, which would have been really hard to do a whole series as, because that's right on your vocal cords. Hurts. So I'm kind of relieved I didn't do that.
and I honestly can't really give you an example because I actually know the character of Leorio is in my head now. Yeah. Which, I mean, Matt's version is in my head. So I don't think I could do what I did. I don't remember well enough. I think I would just do an impression of Matt now, which is not obviously what I did at the time. So sorry. I was like, this, what's wrong? What do you think?
That's what Leorio would have sounded like, so.
It was Glomer.
That's awesome. So my follow-up question now is, it doesn't have to be Hunter x Hunter specifically, so I know all of you have had these really great careers so far, and hopefully they only continue to get bigger and better for you all. But do you have any fun stories just working on whatever projects? If it's a great Hunter x Hunter story, that'd be awesome, but if it's just in general, I'd love to hear those.
Oh, I have. Okay, so I did not know that Bisky was going to transform. What happened?
So sorry.
Are you gonna sing?
Please speak up.
Only if Keith does a little melody.
And stop. I did not foresee that happening. That was
live entertainment.
friggin' amazing.
I mean, the entertainment part's debatable, but
Right.
It happened. It happened. Okay, so funny story. So I did not know Bisky was going to turn into an enormous brute. So today, I went to the studio that day, and they were like, "We're going to do the transformation," and I was like, "I'm sorry, what?" They said, "You know, when she gets big," and I was like, "Okay." And then we did it, and for some reason, they did not keep a voice reference of it. Which they always do. So when she turned big, the second time I went into the studio, and they said, "We're doing the transformation again." I said, "Great." I said, "Can I hear a ref?" And they said, oh no, we don't have it. Like they looked through the computer files, blah, blah, blah. And I have to say, thank God for y'all on Twitter who post things, because I was like, you know what? Someone just tagged me in a post with that scene. So I literally went to Twitter, I found my likes, I found the clip that one of you guys posted, and I watched it, and I played it for the engineer, and I was like, here's our reference. And that's how I got the reference that day. So I'm very grateful to you guys for doing stuff like that. Yeah. And I'm mad at the engineer who didn't save the reference in the first place.
No, what's up with that?
No.
Well, I have a Hunter related one, which is just funny, with regards to Tony Oliver, our director. So I don't think any of us saw the scripts ahead of time, but you could have, I guess, watched the animation or read the manga or whatever. I knew nothing about it, and I like being surprised. Unless there's a reason to tell me ahead of time, I want it to be a little more organic so that I don't know what's going to happen, so as an actor, I'm maybe surprised or upset or angry at the same, with my character. So I didn't know what was coming up, and we got to, what's the Heaven's Arena arc, right? Yeah, some of you have seen this, you know where I'm going. So, Tony plays something for me that I'm supposed to then do, and it's a little odd, it's a little different. And if you've seen this sequence, he sort of goes into a very long moan as he's enjoying this fight. I mean, it's enough to give you pause. You're like, oh, what? And then you go, I'm gonna do that. You're like, oh, okay, all right. Well, I didn't want to do it a whole bunch of times, and the professional that I am, I was like, all right, I'm going to just go for this. I'm just going to do it. So, just let's set everything aside, just focus. I do the whole thing, give it my all, and as as soon as I'm done, I'm like, Tony, do you want to safety that? Which means like a second take just in case. And he's like, nope, I don't ever want to do that again. And I'm like, good. I'm like, oh my God. But see, it paid off, because in my head I was like, I really don't want to do this 7 times. I really don't, if we can help it. So I'm really gonna, and that's one of the things, you work long enough and you're like, even if it's something that makes you feel a little, nervous about, like, oh, do I want to do it? Doesn't matter, you gotta do it. You do the best you can. It's not you doing it anyway, it's the character doing it. And I hate to say this, but it's not the worst thing I've done in voiceover, for sure. But yeah, that was funny, just the fact that he was like, no. We got it, right? We got it. Let's move on.
Stuff like that, it can be a little weird. I've been in 2 ecchi shows, one of which I was a lead, and I had to moan a lot. So I understand. I get it.
I remember that.
My ringtone.
That's why I love these people. Do we have another question?
Yes, still more.
Move on quick. With all that said, can you all moan? Okay. All right. No, I'm kidding. Don't.
Absolutely not.
No, absolutely not. It was just an awful joke. So, that said, just show of hands, who wants to ask a question next? All right, there's a few of you. Awesome. So, for those of you who have questions, there should be a monitor around here somewhere. Where is he? I don't see him. There should be a mic as well. So if you have questions, that's over there. Awesome, thank you. These lights. There should be a mic on this side, so feel free to line up. This way you can ask your question. Just make sure you keep it appropriate and you keep it PG. Just make sure
you keep it appropriate. And for all of those of you on the top, right in the center there is a microphone. So so if you want to just walk over to that one, you guys got a lot of
the cheap seats up there?
So wait, did
you know that this is the theater where they shoot America's Got Talent? And I'm just wondering if there was anyone here to hear you guys beatbox. Now that I know that this is the theater.
That was an audition.
I'm sure.
Out of it.
Sorry.
Just pops out of the ground.
So you guys don't know this with Terry Crews. He's show.
How we did though, just pops out of a cake.
All right, we've got some questions.
We got questions.
Let's see what we have here.
Hello.
Oh.
Hello, my name's Maxwell. I have a question for Keith. How does working on Hunter x Hunter compare with working on Beastars?
Beastars! Oh my God, I forgot to mention Beastars.
Well, first off, they're totally different shows. Let me ask you this. You're not a carnivore, are you? Please tell me you don't eat meat.
I guess I'm an omnivore since I eat both meat and vegetables.
Eat your vegetables, kids.
I've got a chain with your name on it. We're gonna fix that. They're totally different shows. I mean, they just have a very different vibe. And my part in it is, that's Goheen right there. And he's so much more flowery and different and suggestive in everything he says. I mean, they're so different. Beastars isn't like any other show, really. It's kind of in its own. It's kind of in its own pocket. I don't really know what I would compare it to, but I'm a big fan of the shows, but they're just very different.
We also have a nickname for Goheen. Do you guys want to know what it is?
I do.
Well, you know this already.
Maybe.
It's Pan Daddy. Because look at him. Where he gets from eating, is it bamboo? Is that what he eats?
The name's not Pan Daddy, it's Goheen.
It's Pan Daddy.
No, I can Pan Daddy. I like Pan Daddy.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
My question is, what advice would your characters give you personally? For Hisoka, maybe not. He may not give the best advice. Maybe Charlie.
What
advice would our characters give us?
Yes, since you guys had more time, like getting to know them personally. So, like, what do you think they would advise you?
Oh, well, because Bisky travels with her masseuse, I think she would say, Tara, you really need a massage. Because I do. So.
I think Merowyn would tell me to stop slacking and study my chess. I know it's not chess that he plays, it's Gunki, but I play chess, and I've been at the same ELO for like 2 years. It's pretty pitiful. I play often and learn nothing.
I think Kaluto would just say, oh, just stay away from your mother if she's crazy. Which she is. Not my mother, his mother. She would kill me if she thought I said that. Anyway.
He's always offering advice. He's okay. It's not all that bad. Love and hate are two sides of the same coin. He'd say something like that, and something that's more specific. You mentioned Zhongli. I get stressed out about trying to do so much stuff and get everything done and whatever. He would say, every journey has its final day. Don't rush.
Thank you. And Merowyn would probably also say, stay in school. And don't smoke, don't do drugs.
Just say no.
Say your prayers, eat your vitamins.
Yeah. What?
Question for T. I know you voiced Speedwagon from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, so I was just wondering what your favorite line from Speedwagon was.
No pressure.
I know, right? Do you have a favorite line?
Not really. I like all of them.
So you get to just talk about it.
Try, Keith.
No, that's mine too. Master Joe, stop.
Same
to lure you in like it's not. Right about now, you're probably wondering who I am. Allow me to elucidate you. The name is Robert E.O. Speedwagon, and at least I have a favorite line.
I was just wondering how you take yourself seriously and have the confidence to say some lines that maybe don't feel all too easy to take yourself seriously while doing.
Well, I think what helps with that is we have to separate ourselves from the character, and we also, all have to remember that the actors are not actually their characters, so it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to make it easier, but in that moment it just helps to kind of get past that, because at the end of the day, we want to do well, but we want to get the job done, and we have to get the job done. And the director just wants a good take. He or she wants a good performance from it. It's not really a reflection of us as people. So it might be a little uncomfortable, but sometimes we just have to try and work past that as a professional. So
you know that the people who are in the room with you are rooting for you to do a really good job because they want you to do a good job. And so we might goof around a bit, but eventually we're gonna try and do that thing that's really awkward because we got people waiting on us to do that thing and get through it. But how do you get the confidence to do that stuff? I think it's just experience, performance experience, and putting yourself out there more and more, and getting that positive feedback from people like, oh, this is okay, I can do this, and I'm not gonna get laughed at, or this is a cool thing. You do so many crazy things with Hisoka. What is your process of?
Well, first of all, I never take myself too seriously. That's just not my personality type. However, when you're playing a character, it's totally different. And I would say, you believing what you're performing, what you're reading, is the most important element, I think, of acting. You have to believe it. You're not you now. I'm not Keith commenting on Hisoka's line. I'm being Hisoka, and I'm giving a delivery. I'm giving my 100% into that. Now we can do another take. I can get redirected another way, which happens all the time. But I have to commit to whatever I'm doing. I have to believe it. If I don't believe it, there's no way you're going to believe it. And no one else in the room is going to believe it. In the end, the audience is not going to believe it. So it doesn't matter if you have you could come up with a character voice that, in retrospect, you're like, that's lame. I wish I didn't do that, whatever. But the audience will get used to it. If you always believe it yourself. You will sell them on it. So you have to
100%. The more you believe it, the better it's going to be. If you see my performances in the booth as any of my animated characters, I'm so big, I'm so physical, and I look out of context, in a vacuum, I look like a damn fool. But it always contributes to the performance. It does not matter what I do. I could look like a fool, but if I give the line in a way where that physicality is contributing to the performance, then great. It's gravy, baby. It's great.
Yeah. In fact, I'd say I don't understand, and some actors can do it. I don't understand how actors don't though. When actors don't move.
Oh no.
Like how are you acting? Some people
sit down in a chair.
Sit down and do everything like this. But it's like, I don't get, see for me, and I guess for you too, there's a physicality that just has to be there. It's part of me believing myself. Yeah. Is that I'm moving. It doesn't matter what I'm imagining I'm doing, it all colors the way you perform the line. All of it does.
Yeah.
That was an awesome question. Thank you for that.
Thanks.
Ooh, slow clap. Oh, yeah. We got a slow clap.
Build it. Keep building it. Keep building it. Keep building it. Got one.
That's good.
Hi.
Hello.
This one's for Keith.
Me?
Yes.
Yes, you.
In Sonic the Hedgehog series, what is your favorite line when you voice as Vector the Crocodile?
I don't remember a lot of specific Vector the Crocodile lines, to be totally honest with you. I know people like Find the Computer Room. I've been doing Vector for like 14 years. Whoever was doing him 15 years ago did that particular voice line. I usually am like, hey, I'm on the case! You know, something in that range. Because I think he says I'm on the case and what have you. But he talks about a lot of do-re-mi in one of the series. In Sonic Boom. But I don't remember his specific lines. He just kind of comes in the games and gives advice to Sonic. So I don't know if there was a memorable. Do you have a favorite other than the Computer Room?
It's hard to speak, but sometimes I remember seeing Sonic Generations of Vector the Crocodile when Sonic either Monors or Past Sonic says Vector. Except I couldn't remember the gameplay.
Yeah, but it's a great character. I love playing him. Some of my characters seem to have like catchphrases that are pretty easy to go to, and you guys help with that too. Because I don't play all the games of everything that I've done and watch all the series, but you guys come up to me and you're, oh my god, I love when he says, when you say this. And so then I learn those phrases. Some of them I do watch, and some are very obvious with characters. Maybe I don't know so much, but I gave you a couple of examples. Hope those work. I'm glad you're a fan. I see what you got there. Heck yeah.
Tails with me.
Yeah.
Thanks so much.
Thanks for the question.
You don't have a question. What's your next question? Yeah, you're next.
Do a shot of water.
Yeah, what's your question?
I'll do an applejack.
Yes, you have to tell me what it is. Yes, you have to tell me what it is.
I'll do my favorite psychoactive drug. Is it psychoactive?
No.
Caffeine.
Caffeine? Oh, it's...
Is it considered psychoactive? No, it's considered psychotropic.
Psychoactive is.
Psychotropic. I don't know.
Mushrooms in your
It sounds like a Parkman album. Psychoactive.
Oh, you got the LSD coffee.
We have a question.
Oh, yes.
It's LSD.
LSD caffeine.
I tried, I'm sorry.
I have a question.
Hi.
Do you like the blue hair Hisoka or the orange hair Hisoka better?
Favorite Hisoka.
I've never thought about that before.
Visually or personality?
I guess you mean visually. No, there wouldn't be a
personality and visually, because the blue haired one's like in '99. It's a little bit.
Oh, you were talking about the old version of it.
He's a little bit less crazy.
I gotta tell you, I have never seen. I've only seen maybe a little clip from that one, and there's no way I couldn't be biased and pick the one that I know and love. Because I'm also a fan of the series. I've seen it over three times through. For Hunter x Hunter, the one that we worked on. So, I mean, I'm a fan of that. That's the one that I know. So, I mean, no disrespect to the original version whatsoever. I just, of course, the newer one's going to be my fave. If that's the difference. I mean, when he changes his costume, he's got different outfits. I don't know that I have a favorite. I kind of like that there's a new one in the manga somebody showed me that's like crazy though. I'm a little nervous about that one. Got it. It's extra. It's very extra.
Thank you for the question.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Blue hair or orange hair. Make your choice now. Choose. Choose or die.
Hello, I have a question. Which one of the characters in the show do you think is closest to the character that you voice?
Wait.
Which one of the characters in the show is closest to us in personality, or
Like, closest to the character that you play, like...
Or which other character?
which
Yeah,
other
like,
character?
who do you think has the closest relationship to you?
Oh.
Relationship to the character?
Oh gosh.
Well, Komugi.
Yeah, Komugi for sure.
For sure, from Arrowin.
I'd say Hisoka. For Bisky, maybe. We'll go with that.
That's the one you want to be the closest.
That's like, well, that's what I was sort of thinking.
Truth be told, I don't think anyone has a close relationship to Kaluto because he's kind of a loner. Because in the Zoldyck family, that's a whole bunch of crazy. And I think, in all seriousness, like I remember one of the episodes where Killua comes to the household, and I remember Kaluto just kind of thinking to himself, it's so strange that he's on his own and he doesn't really know like what's outside of the family. So I think because they have their own little world themselves, he doesn't really have anybody. It's a very dark place. It's a very not great place to be living. So I don't think he has anybody that's close to him like that. So poor Kaluto.
Hisoka's the closest to Illumi, for sure, and but he's the most interested in Gon, clearly, because of Gon's future potential, so.
Awesome, thank you for the question. We have time for one, maybe two more questions, by FYI.
I think we can do a lightning round for the people who are in line.
Let's do it. Challenge accepted.
With the hat, it'll be the last one. Lightning round, go!
For Keith and Max, I just wanted to ask, how's your personal experience with voicing in Genshin Impact, mainly like how it started and how the direction it go through?
It's dope. Genshin is awesome. It's one of my favorite things just because they let me do whatever I want. And listen, 99% of the stuff that I say is written for me. I get to ad-lib 1%. I said on Zach Aguilar's stream one time, they get to say whatever, I get to say whatever I want. And everyone's like, great, Max made up 99% of the lines. No, I made up 1% of the lines, but they do let me ad-lib anything I want, which is so nice. What do you think?
I am loving working on Genshin Impact, I will say. Zhongli, a lot of people say that it's a very soothing character to listen to. When I record him, it's very soothing for me. I'm dropping my voice and slowing everything down, and so I'm doing this, I'm in a very meditative spot. So when I get a good length session, it's very meditative for me, so it's really cool. I do a lot of spastic, crazy, psycho characters that are wild and insane, and those are fun too, they're a different thing, but it's nice to just go, and live in that spot for a little while. So I love Genshin Impact for a lot of reasons, and a lot of it's because of how the fan base
is. Is that funny?
You are.
Merowyn, is that for me?
Is that for you?
Yeah.
It's fun to get that every now and then. And the others, you want all of it, right? You want the variety. Right. But it's nice to get that,
the guy just gets relaxed. That's where I'm at. Yeah. Sure. Thanks for your question.
Thanks for your question.
Popular.
All right, lightning round, let's go.
Your question. How's it going? My name is Lorenzo.
What's up, Lorenzo?
Hello.
What's up, baby pop?
So, my question for you guys and for anyone really, who inspired you guys to do voice acting?
What? Say it again?
Who inspired us to do voice acting?
Oh.
Who inspired you to do voice acting?
I know many people that did. Jim Cummings, I grew up with Jim Cummings, Rob Paulson. Mary Elizabeth McGlynn is an amazing actress. She's queen. Oh my gosh, so many people. I can't list everybody because there's too many people, but absolutely I've been inspired by many.
Yeah, same. For me, there's too many to count. I look up to a lot of people. They didn't inspire me to do voice acting. I found voice acting and fell in love with it immediately. But it's all the OG people, the Frank Welkers, the Jim Cummings, the Rob Paulsons, the Maurice LaMarche.
Correct.
But also newer people who are not necessarily OG, but who are incredible. Roger Craig Smith and James Arnold Taylor.
Tara Sands.
Tara Sands.
Yeah,
Keith Silverstein.
No, actually, I'm not kidding. Tara knows this. a fan of Tara way before I got into the industry. She knows this.
Shut up.
It's true. I don't want to.
No, you shut up. My answer, all the people you guys named, obviously. My very first day working on Pokemon, I was there early because I'm always early, and Veronica Taylor was working before me, and I got to watch her work, and that was awesome. I'm very lucky.
If we're getting into the industry, I wasn't. I mean, I grew up on all kinds of, Mel Blanc and everybody, but it wasn't that. I just kind of got into it on my own. It wasn't through inspiration of other people. But I will say this: I'm inspired every time I get to watch any of you and anyone who's doing voiceover work. And the truth is, everybody brings something totally different to the table. So it doesn't matter if it's day one. I will watch that person that's probably on their first session ever, and there's an energy, there's something about it that you can go, oh yeah. Oh, that's so cool. Or something about their voice. You can get ideas and be inspired, and that happens to me constantly. I mean, there's always people like D. Bradley Baker who just do things you're like, I don't even understand what you're doing. Where's that coming? Is it coming out of your ears?
Exactly,
I freaking get it.
Yeah.
So there's people that blow you away, but you can get inspiration, and you should, because you always want to be inspired with whatever it is you love. Try to be inspired. So it's just a matter of opening up your mind and allowing it in, because it's all of you are impressive, and I love all of your performances. So.
I would end that panel there, but we promised 2 more people real quick. Yes, thank you for your question.
Hello, my question is, how do you go from your voice to a character's voice? Like, what are the vocal steps that you take?
Years and years and years of just learning what your instrument can do. That's it, and it just takes time and trying stuff out. You mimic, and you're like, oh, I can do that, and that's it. It's just experience.
By the way, you guys all do it because you get angry with someone and you go, you're all, I don't want to take the trash out. Yeah. You all do that. I don't know, maybe I have the same sentence, but you all do that kind of thing, and you jump into character voices all the time, and you don't even give yourselves credit for it. So you already have that ability. It's just honing that ability and going to a precise character, and that's it.
And not being afraid to sound dumb and failing.
Awesome.
Thank you. All right, last question. Here we are.
It's the final.
All right, my final question was just advice you would give people who want to make a career out of voice acting. Like, what advice would you have to people?
First thing I would say, sorry, didn't mean to cut you off. First thing I would say is it definitely helps to be an actor, because the second word of voice acting is what? Acting. That was correct. You would be honestly, you would be so surprised at how many people do not know that. Every time I say, what's the second word in acting or voice acting, they say, oh. Because it is, that's what it is. We are performers, we are actors. We don't just go into the booth and do fun. I mean, we do funny voices sometimes, but there's always a performance behind it. So definitely enroll yourself in acting classes. Theater, that's where I started, that's where a lot of people started, is in theater. Theater will help train you for many different things.
Yeah, here, go to a website called iwanttobeavoiceactor.com. It's a great website. Do you know about it? No, it's started by, speaking of D. Bradley Baker, very prolific voice actor. He got asked, how do I get into voice acting so many times? He made a comprehensive website from A to Z about how you do it, what you need to do. My advice is always mimic, learn what your voice can do, get performance experience, and be kind to people. Because the voice acting industry has no room for butts. And lastly, I was going to say, have fun. Man, there's no reason to do this if you're not having fun, or if you've lost the enjoyment of it. So, that's it.
Yeah,
awesome.
I always send people to Dee's site, but save your money. I always tell people, please don't throw tons of money on it. Classes are very expensive. Go to Facebook. Steve Bloom has a page called bloomvox.com. Bloomvox on Facebook. Find other people who want to do it. Do practice groups over Zoom for free. Don't start shelling out money on tons of equipment and things like that before you're ready. It's very tempting to do that, or to sign up for classes with your favorite voice actors. Make sure you really want to do this before you shell out money like that. And train with people who actually are making decisions and who understand the other side of the industry, not just an actor that you think is cool.
Awesome. And don't push it off if you want to do it. I think now more than ever, if you want to do it, get your classes, do it, learn, go. Just get going as fast as you can, because the AI overlords are coming for us, and there's going to be less jobs. I'm serious. I'm being totally serious. So those of you that are like, I want to do it one day, you can do it as a kid. You can do it. So do it. Do it. Get in while you can and get a spot for yourself.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for that question. With that said, we are out of time. So one last thing. Can you please remind them who you are and where they can find you this weekend?
You know who I am. We're all going to be in the autographs area. There's 2 separate autographs areas. We're in Hall C, and you're in Hall A.
Sure.
Okay. There you go. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you so much. Can we give it up to Hunter Cast? Thank you all so much. If you're interested in Demon Slayer, that Q&A is up next.